I noticed that only because I got a new TV and it's in whatever 4K.
You were noticing it because you just put on your black jeans and you're like, hey.
No one will notice. It's 1992.
All coming back around.
Hey, I have to show you guys a picture because this is from my wedding. This is my groomsman. This is one of my pictures. Can you see it?
Wait, hold on a second. Cool.
Oh, that's awesome. You have to send me that picture.
Very Reservoir Doggish right there.
That's awesome.
Very nice. I mean, yeah. Go ahead, Zach. Go ahead, Zach.
That's definitely an homaged scene.
Yeah, I mean, when I wrote down that when that happened, I knew I was in for something special because it gave me goosebumps the first time I saw that. I was like, "What? This is it's like, you know, it's been done before, but the way that it was done and the music and how I was like, oh, this is interesting." Like that whole conversation.
These people moving slow, something's gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool shit. Yeah. But I do like what I like about Tarantino is that he takes these elements from old movies, old 70s films, you know, that we like, and instead of just ripping them off, he utilizes them in his own sort of stories. Like if you've ever seen Hateful Eight, go back and watch a spaghetti western called The Great Silence, and it's not a rip off of that film, but you can tell it influenced Hateful Eight a ton, and it's just interesting to find those connections.
Well, speaking of that, Zach, is somebody tipped me off to something called City of Fire, and that being the original premise of Reservoir Dogs. Is a much older Japanese film.
Now I got to see it.
It wouldn't surprise me because he's obviously been influenced by so much samurai and it's in almost all of his movies. Except for Kill Bill. I don't think there's any samurai stuff in either one of those.
No.
But other than that, I'm pretty sure.
But exactly, like kung fu stuff, spaghetti western, blaxploitation, action stuff. Like it's all these sort of genres that you don't really get a lot of anymore, and he gets to make them.
Well, when I was reading about all the behind the scenes stuff, there were maybe a handful of little tidbits about Denver, and then pages and pages full of stories and backstories and things that happened behind the scenes in Reservoir Dogs. It made me think about how audiences kind of overall receive these things at the time, and what about those Metacritic reviewers? Did they get a hold of it? Has any even seen Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead to review it?
It's funny that you say that. There were 2.
Wow.
Just 2 Metacritic. So I actually had to pull stuff from IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes instead because one of the critiques was in French. So no one on Metacritic really said anything.
I hope you Google translated it.
I was going to say, did we get the French accent?
That would have been hilarious.
French, but I'm like, forget this. I can't do the French thing.
Sacre
bleu. But yeah, there wasn't a lot at all. But again, the Metacritic score for audience, the Metacritic score, because of all the critics and everything, it wasn't as low as I thought it was going to be. Let me put it that way.
Well, break it in there. I want to hear about the budgets for these films, and I want to hear about the reception for them. Sure.
All right. Well, Things to Do in Denver, $7 million budget. So quite a bigger budget than they had for Reservoir Dogs, of course. The open, I don't know if these numbers are real or not. It's hard to know because the opening weekend gross for Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead, 44,000.